Bold and visionary, Dubai isn't just a city, it is the world's launchpad for big ideas and bold ambitions. A very warm welcome to IDFC First Bank presents Leaders of Tomorrow Season 12. I'm Ritwika Gupta and you're watching our special series Eye on Dubai, coming to you straight from the heart of the city. A very special conversation lined up today with none other than actor and entrepreneur Vivek Oberoi, who shares how Dubai became the stage for his ventures, especially in real estate. In the second segment, we are chatting with His Excellency Mohammad Ali Rashid Luta, President and CEO, Dubai Chamber of Commerce.
With its strategic location, robust infrastructure and business-first policies, Dubai has become a magnet for Indian entrepreneurs looking to scale globally. Actor-turned-entrepreneur Dr. Vivek Anand Oberoi shares how Dubai's thriving ecosystem enabled him to build across sectors like sustainable luxury and real estate, from vision to execution. It's a story of bold ideas meeting the right environment.
Vivek, welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow. It's a pleasure to be chatting with you today.
Pleasure is mine, Rituka.
So tell me, from the silver screen to business, what sparked this shift? And of course, was entrepreneurship always on the radar?
I think it's been an interesting journey from Bollywood to the boardroom. I think entrepreneurship was always in the blood and my upbringing. My dad got me hooked onto entrepreneurship pretty early in life. I must have been 10 when he gave me a diary to put my accounts together, gave me inventory the first 2 weeks of summer holidays before we'd go out to some fancy location.
Wow.
I would pack my school bag with different things. Every year it used to be different. One year would be electronics, one year would be perfumes, one year would be apparel. He would just keep giving me stuff like that, and he'd say, "This is what you owe me, and whatever you make on top is your money."
Nice.
And I would be there on my cycle, knocking on door to door in the neighborhoods of Juhu. I think that taught me a lot, taught me everything from understanding the customer, understanding the mindset, understanding a sales pitch, taking feedback and then converting it into feed forward.
Right.
At a very early age. And responsibility, value for money, a lot of things came about from that. By the time I was 15, I stopped taking money from my dad, and I had my own sources of income, I had my own investment structures. By the time I was 17, I was running an informal microfinance while I was studying economics, finance and accounting structures. In college, I was also parallelly executing on them, like validating the theory in the real market. Created a great win-win situation for all the sandwich walas, dosa walas, chai walas outside college. Along with their growth came mine, and then went into the stock markets. And then finally, I think I was about 19 when I decided I want to set up something where I was creating real value from scratch. Set up my first company when startups weren't called startups and exits weren't called exits. By the time I was 22, 23, I had my first exit, made a substantial sum of money, put it into my investment portfolio, and then went off to study film in New York. I did my master's there. Came back, acting happened, God was kind, but then now I had to deploy all this income that I was making, and then that brought me back into investments, and then from investments, slowly started doing more creative businesses, right? How do you create more value within a business? That started pretty early, started with real estate and then went on to a bunch of other things. Today, the family office has investments in edtech, agri-tech, fintech. We've got investments in lab-grown diamond jewelry with Solitario. We've got real estate here and back home. And a bunch of really other interesting sectors.
Nice. So why Dubai? Why did you pick Dubai as the playground for your business ideas?
For me, Dubai wasn't a playground. Dubai was a fertile bed where the effort to output ratio was much higher. And I felt that creating a economic bridge, because a cultural bridge already exists for over 100 years between Bharat and the UAE. Until the 70s, the Indian rupee was the local currency here. So I felt that if we leverage on that economic bridge, the existence of a massive desi populace here that has done very well for themselves, and then build value here. It's an interesting collaborative play, especially in light of the new CEPA agreement. There seems to be a ready economic infrastructure to leverage on.
Sure.
So I think value creation, raising capital is a lot easier here. And then creating value both locally in the UAE and also creating secondary value with Indian companies, there is Indian technologies, Indian businesses, entrepreneurs, and uplifting them too. So it creates a global pipe of capital. Like sitting here now, we're raising capital from so many different countries, from the US institutions that are based in the UK, and then institutions in the region. So that becomes very easy here. And Dubai is, in my opinion, both from a lifestyle perspective, a wealth perspective, a wealth preservation perspective, and a growth perspective. I believe it's the new financial capital of the world.
Fantastic. So let's talk about B&W Real Estate. What is the larger vision for this?
My partner, my younger brother Ankur Agarwal, and I had a vision to create a luxury, lifestyle-oriented, qualitative, aspirational real estate company. And the whole idea was that, you know, this is not just for the locals or a set of population from Southeast Asia, but for the whole world. So how do we create something that elevates the living experience? How do we create something that, while elevating the living experience, is financially a smart decision?
Sure.
Can also be perceived as an investment. Mindset generally in the world is that your house is not an investment.
Right.
Your house is just your homestead, your refuge from the world. There's an emotional connect. Correct. But if you're smart, you're able to convert the asset not just from an emotional perspective, but also from a financial strength perspective. And that's what we've seen every single time in life, right? When you want to buy a bigger house, what do? Your smaller house gives you the equity to go and upgrade yourself, right? So from that perspective, we designed a structure in which everybody from ourselves, the investors, whether it's financial institutions, whether it's single family offices, billionaire UHNIs who invest with us on a project level, down to society, the overall ecosystem, how we're contributing there, from an aesthetic perspective, from a quality perspective, down to further the business itself. How do we become contributors to the real estate environment or the development environment here? All the way down to the unit level, where a end buyer who's purchasing a unit. How do we create value accretion for all these people? How do we build value and make it a financially smart investment, but also a sense of pride in owning a B&W asset? So I think that was the design. That was the thought process.
Now, you also recently collaborated with the Taj Group of Hotels to bring the Taj Wellington Mew for the very first time to Ras Al Khaimah, right? So tell us all about that.
Well, I've always been a fan of Taj. I think, pun intended, it's the crowning glory of hospitality. And it takes me back to my college days where I was on a budget, and we used to be 6 or 7 of us hogging up one table at the Taj Shamiana in South Mumbai, just to be there for that experience, and then ordering one dish and dividing it among 6 or 7 people so that we could afford to pay the bill on a student budget. The dream was always to create a collaboration with Taj. And since we are blessed with great success in Ras Al Khaimah, and now with multiple projects development in Dubai, and the company's grown exponentially, I kept seeing that Taj is missing in Ras Al Khaimah. I kept feeling that there's a gap there.
Nice, fantastic. And how do you think this collaboration with the Taj Group of Hotels is going to really reshape the landscape here in terms of real estate, in terms of hospitality? Aside
from that heritage and hospitality and that rich cultural backdrop, on a financial structure, it makes a lot of sense, because today, when I have 300 odd units, I have more than 1,500 or 1,600 serious expressions of interest, inquiries. People are saying, I want a unit, I want a unit. And the reason that is that it's also a great investment product. So you have value accreting when you have an appreciation on the baseline value, which has happened on all our projects, whether you look at Aqua, Pelagia, they've all grown in value already in a short window of time. And we believe that the same will happen with Taj, which you're making regularly. And it's a substantive one, because you're here and the dirham is a pseudo dollar, you're also making it in dollars. So if a rupee investor is buying something for say 100 rupees, but he's making say 7 or 8% or 9% yield on it, two factors make a big difference. The first factor is that rupee to dollar conversion on day one appreciates every year by 4 to 5%, right? If you look at the average appreciation or the depreciation of the rupee against the dollar, it's about 4 to 5% every year. So 8% becomes like 12%, 13%. And the second is the friendly taxation structure here. Right? Instead of being taxed at anywhere between a 30 to 45 bracket, you're being taxed at a 9% bracket.
Right. No, seriously, just picking up from what you said, and by way of advice to a lot of entrepreneurs who watch our show, you know, businesses who are looking to expand to Dubai, what advice would you give them, you know, in terms of the policies they can look forward to, maybe the infrastructure they can, you know, look forward to in Dubai?
I think it's very easy to be safe and mitigative in Dubai. The policies are pretty clear, pretty transparent. Affecting a law and the comfort of a legal structure, if you're on the right side of it, is very strong too. Enforcement is a real thing and very timely. So those things make a lot of a sense of confidence in an entrepreneur. If you are here with a vision that aligns with the vision of the visionary rulers here, who are always thinking 20, 30, 50 years ahead, and you want to make a contribution here, there's great opportunity to create wealth for yourself and your shareholders.
Right. So finally, Vivek, tell us what is next on the horizon for you? You know, are there certain sectors that you're excited about, or what is it that we can expect from you?
Well, there are certain sectors that I'm excited about. At B&W, we are expanding and diversifying into hospitality, F&B. Potentially next year there's geographical diversification into the region. We are looking at opportunities in Saudi, in Oman. So that's an exciting part. And there's also the fact that with our 450 member team that we have that has so much capacity built in, so many different kind of collaborative wealth products can be envisaged at the right time. So many potential real estate component to a family office in terms of a built-to-suit structure, commercial establishments, retail establishments. The potential is huge. So with B&W, there's a lot of excitement on multiple things. In other sectors, super excited about the education technology sector.
Sure.
I think impact-wise, what excites me most is agro. I think the kind of bottom of the pyramid impact that you can create in agro with AI coming in, there's so many opportunities right now. On the jewelry side, we're really happy with the growth Solitario has had. So super excited about a couple of IPOs of investee companies that we'll take public this year.
Fantastic. Well, all the very best to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us.
Such a pleasure.
Thank you so much. It's time for a quick break here. We'll be back shortly. Stay tuned.